Democratic lawmakers have asked the Pentagon's watchdog to open an investigation into contracts awarded to companies affiliated with Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. According to the Washington Post, 15 companies with investments from the Trump sons have generated at least $3.2 billion in direct government business, along with an additional $3.1 billion in future contract options. The lawmakers say that they are, quote, concerned about a growing cloud of corruption amid questions about whether the president's family and administration officials may be abusing their positions to influence the DOD awards. Joining us now, Hofstra University law professor. You may recognize him from previous segments. James Sample is with us. Paul Rieckhoff, also stuck with me. David Rohde, also here with me as well, and we're lucky to have you all. David, what are you hearing about this probe from your sources in Washington?
So I reached out to one of the senators who filed this letter. There were 3 senators and one representative. I spoke with Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut. He's on the Senate Armed Services Committee. He sent me a statement about why, he feels this should be investigated. He said, we're raising serious questions about potential corruption or conflicts of interest that may affect our national security. We need to look into whether Trump's sons are profiting from investments in defense contractors that involve insider information or contracts awarded in ways that compromise defense interests, among other issues. So the issue is these companies, and they've all gotten contracts before from the Pentagon, but since the Trump sons started investing in them, the amount of contracts, the amount of money they're getting from the Pentagon has tripled. And I want to be fair. There's no evidence at this point that somehow the Trump sons steered a contract to the companies that they are investing in. The broader problem is that this is just unprecedented. Past presidents and their family members aren't sort of investing in companies, or they're putting all their money into blind trusts so that the appearance of a conflict of interest doesn't emerge. And so we don't know what's really happening here, but that's why these senators and one member of the House are asking for an investigation by the inspectors general to see if all this recent contracting was properly done or not.
So, James, what ethical or legal violations are lawmakers asking the Pentagon IG to look into? Is this really a legal thing, an ethics thing? Where's the line?
It's actually a procurement integrity request, and that's how the letter that David just referenced frames it. It's not a criminal accusation, and there's a reason for that. There are basically 3 reasons why this story is an ethics story, it's a norm story, and it's not a legal story. The criminal conflict of interest statute that would be on point for other federal officials specifically exempts the president and the vice president, so they're out. And the children, Don Jr. and Eric, they're not federal office holders, so they are not even under the main umbrella of the statute. The second aspect is that over the last decade, the Supreme Court has dramatically narrowed the scope of bribery law, what is known in the law as honest services fraud, to the point where 2 years ago in the most recent case, they basically took what was absolutely, in the common person's vernacular, a bribe, and described it as a gratuity because it was after the fact. And then finally, the emoluments clause. The Supreme Court has refused to, the emoluments clauses, plural, the Supreme Court has refused to give them teeth. This is the consequence.
And you touched on this, but we do need to read this for legal reasons. A spokesperson for the Trump Organization told the Post, quote, Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. are passive minority investors with absolutely no involvement, as you alluded to, in the day-to-day operations, strategic decisions, management, or any activities of these companies. They have no role whatsoever in awarding, oversight, management of any government contracts, and remain proud to invest in American companies and American technology. A spokesperson for Donald Trump Jr. told us, or said, that he is a private citizen and a businessman and has never served in government. As you mentioned, never served in government. Is that enough? You mentioned the myriad reasons why this is not exactly a legal situation, but is it enough that both of these brothers have never served in government to insulate them from any potential wrongdoing?
Well, there could be wrongdoing on other scores, but in terms of what this sounds like, what this looks like from an optics perspective, a conflict of interest, there is no criminal culpability. Even if allegations that have not even been lodged were lodged, they are outside the scope of the statute.
And Paul, you said, finally, I'm glad someone in Washington's paying attention to this.
Yeah, this has been out there for a while. And it's wrong, right? It may not be illegal, but it's wrong. It's deeply, deeply wrong. And what a surprise. The Trump family is getting rich off government contract. Who in the world is surprised by this? I think it's especially egregious because it has to do with Defense Department. It has to do at a time when their father is ramping up warfare around the world, asking for $1.5 trillion in additional defense funding, and we've got Americans dying in these wars. It is wrong. It's un-American. It's deeply offensive. And I think it's the kind of thing that unites a lot of people against Trump. They don't want to see him getting rich off of war. And people always get rich in war, but it's usually not the president and his family.
Do you think that the Democrats are leveraging this moment enough to speak to independents about the corruption, the grift that we have
not
been
enough.
reporting on?
It took him a while to get to this. I mean, John McCain would have been all over this. Like, this was right in his wheelhouse. I'm surprised it's taken them this long, but if I were them, I would zero in on it, especially among moderate Republicans, independents, people who care about national security, who care about conflict of interest, and care about basic norms and ethics.
All right, Paul Rieckhoff, James Sample, David Rohde, thank you all for being so kind to stick around with us.